Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on your YouTube, join our cult. Lock the doors, close the curtains, log off Twitter, and pretend the outside world does not exist with the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast, starring myself, Maffew, Ross the Boss, and the walking Instagram filter himself, Jack the Jobber. Ross, how are you?
The walking Instagram filter.
Bloody hell.
Whoa! I'm not too bad, Matthew. How are you?
I'm great. I've decided to become Amish, so everything is great in my world right now. What about you, Jack?
I'm alright. 1 week we'll be able to do this podcast without starting it off by saying, let's forget about everything else and have a laugh. Because 1 week, everything will be alright. But not this week, though.
Not this week. In the censored news, to make this a nice, happy place, word has gotten out that AJ Styles was hating life on Monday Night Raw because they kept on making fun of him for being a flat earther. And this is what I'm reading. This is what I'm reading.
Oh my god. Is that true? I hope so.
I believe the reports came from Randy Orton, who has also come around to BLM, which is nice to see. So apparently Randy's just going around being woke. Just love to see. Chris Statlander has suffered an injury and she'll be out several months, which sucks the AEW women's division and aliens. The minor news before I get to the big one that everyone's talking about is, do you remember that story from a few years ago about a crazed fan who had to be shot, like with a gun, outside the WWE Performance Center? Apparently had to be removed again this week by security yet again.
Oh god.
There was no apparently about it. There's a video. He filmed himself having a
Oh,
conversation.
there's a video? Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, I'm sure I saw someone say it was an hour long, where he's just having a conversation with Lacey Evans, and Lacey Evans, all credit to her, isn't backing down. She's telling them where to go and whatnot. And yeah, I'm sure it's still on the internet if you want to see it. But yeah, I've not watched it all myself. But he was there.
God. She's a trooper. Other little news. Oh, the Lucha Libre company, I'm getting this right. My big copy-pasted news. IWRG, who have been promoting shows since 1962. They ran a show, I believe, last week. And basically just, what show? No shows here, mate. No. The Mexican Commission has taken their promoter's license away because of it. They are very unhappy about this. And remains to be seen if it lasts a lot. But it's very interesting to see that a lot of shows and companies in Mexico are just trying to be like, Mexico. And they'll be like, no shows. Ignore those cameras. Everything's fine because it's really knackering the Lucha Libre system there. And yeah, they're actually going, take your promoter's license away. Don't care how long you've been doing it.
Because I'm guessing they had fans there. Is that why?
There were some fans there, yes. And speaking of which, so let's see if we can get this all right in chronological order, because some stuff's been proven to be false. A development talent for WWE was last on site at the training facility on Tuesday, June the 9th, has tested positive for the virus. Since that time, no other individuals that attended the facility have reported symptoms. However, out of the abundance of caution to ensure the health and safety of the company's performers and staff, all talent, production crew and employees on site at the facilities will now be tested for the virus. And this is very odd to me because I must be incredibly naive, but what with AEW testing talent on the reg, I just assumed WWE was, until reports this week on Twitter came that no, they've been checking temperature, but that's it, which is pretty amazing to me. And then a report came around, let's see if I get this right, because I know you two read the news as well, that Kevin Dunn had said no fans can wear masks because it looks bad on camera. And Dewey's denied such a claim, saying, no. They went on Conrad Thompson's podcast and went, no, don't believe Davey Meltzer. And said, no. They were social distancing, so they didn't have to wear masks. Which is like, I'm not sure that works, but...
They weren't social distancing anyway.
Yeah, that's not how... Whatever, I'm not a doctor, but all right, let's go ahead with that. And to make matters worse, on Raw, the Street Profits then went and did a little dance in the crowd. Mm-hmm. So all I can say of this is Roman Reigns was right. Any thoughts there, Jack?
I just agree with you in that, like, surely they should have already been testing, and it just seems like they've not been taking it as seriously as AEW have. I'm only using AEW as an example because they're the only other big company in America doing the same thing. But it's just bad, isn't it? I don't blame people like Kevin Owens for going home for a bit, because why would you want to hang around and put your health at risk and thereby put the health of your family at risk? Yeah.
Mm. Also, a little-known company, New Japan, is back.
I've been loving it. I've been absolutely loving life.
It's been the one positive this week, I think.
Right, Suzuki and Nagata just hit each other loads of times in the face, as if to remind everyone what Japanese wrestling's like. Which, remember, we actually like punch each other and stuff. Also, Gabriel Kidd, former WCPW Ridge. I mean, he lost, but
I'm not convinced it's the same man, me. I'm convinced it's somebody else. It's like an evolved version of the Lifeboatman.
He looks the Lifeboatman. He looks a lot harder.
The dog boatman.
Shaved his head. Yeah, he's got himself in tremendous shape. I mean, he's lost, but at the same time, he's found himself in a very big position. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I remember when he showed up at North before he went to New Japan, and he was just like, "Hey," I'm like, "What happened to ye?" And he went, I've been bulking up. He goes, weren't you bulking last time? I says, yes, but that was dirty bulking. So, turns out if you bulk up with not pizzas, then it's all right. And I went, okay,
dirty
let's see how long it lasts. Yeah, right. Plenty of that during lockdown.
We may have been, at WCPW, we may have been witness to the birth of Gabriel Kidd's relationship with New Japan, because one of the times we had Suzuki over, or maybe the only time we had Suzuki over, before a show, we were setting up the ring and everything. And once the ring was set up, Suzuki was in there doing a bit of grappling with Desperado. And then Gabe just went and joined in. And Suzuki was teaching him how to amateur wrestle. And we were watching on from a safe distance, being like, is he going to kill Gabe? What's going to happen? Like, oh God, he's a brave boy. But it seems to have worked out really well for him, in fairness.
I thought you were going to say he impressed them so much by he went in the ring and just ate an entire Parmo in front of Suzuki.
Jay Lethal loves a Parmo. That's true fact. That's real. Yeah.
Good lad. Yes, good thing to bring up this positive podcast of positivity. When Suzuki was in WCPW, that was the bone of contention for many people.
Don't start with this.
What a great theme song he has.
Why?
That's good enough when he gets in the ring.
Why did everyone jump on that? It's because a picture went up of no one around his merch table. Yeah. But what are we meant to do? I feel like we may have brought Suzuki to a whole new audience of people who weren't familiar with him. Why is that a bad thing? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway. And that's just some of the news. The other news is there was a big old super show known as Backlash. Let's have a look at it, shall we, on my phone. Not the whole thing, I mean. Pre-show, Apollo Crews beat Andrade after Owens nullified, it's a good word, a distraction from Angel Garza. It was a quick, simple, did the job. That's what it says in the tin. Bayley and Sasha Banks retained the women's tag titles over Bliss and Cross and the Iconics, which is surprising to me. I thought that they would lose them after we had this little discussion last week. Shows what we know, eh, Jack?
I predicted Bayley and Sasha to win.
Oh. What about you, Ross?
I predict the Iconics, but my heart wanted them to retain, so that's what's most important.
That's right. Sheamus beat Jeff Hardy. And
whoa, I saw that in real time.
That was amazing,
cool.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's hot in this room, by the way. Sheamus beat Jeff Hardy. I'm off my game now. Posters come down, it's all falling apart. After 17 long minutes. Told an interesting story of Sheamus accusing Jeff Hardy of being a smackhead, and then Jeff Hardy wrestling like a smackhead.
What?
That's a bit unfair.
Him falling off the ropes for taking out Sheamus.
Now, I went on Twitter just after this match had finished, and everyone was talking about like what a great physical match it was, but I wasn't a big fan, so I'm quite relieved that you've agreed in no uncertain terms there. Because I didn't.
Oh, we'll get to that, Jack. Don't worry.
Okay. A bloody biker's just gone past. Wow. Sorry, carry on.
God, scary this, isn't it? Asuka and Nia Jax fought to double count out. I was telling everybody that would listen that I thought this was going to steal the show. It didn't. But in my defense, it appears to be the first match in a series, so we'll see next time. Any thoughts there, Ross?
The next time happened on Raw, didn't it?
Ooh,
it's still,
I can't hear what you're saying. Oh, you're back now. Great.
Oh, I can hear him now. He's back.
All right, the next one happened on Raw, didn't it? I'll repeat myself and just say the same thing again. There you go. The series will continue for a long time. It looks like.
It was seamless podcast on YouTube. And what do you think, Jack?
I was disappointed that Asuka didn't win, obviously. I don't know why. I saw some reports saying that the plan was for her to win, to pin Nia, but then it changed for unknown reasons. So I don't know. I guess to continue the feud.
Braun Strowman beat Miz and Morrison.
Hey, hey, hey! Ho, ho, ho!
Oh. Can I just say they legitimately have two good songs? Not even taking the Michael here, Maffew. I know you think I am, but I'm not.
Did I?
Deadly serious. And they've used the same chorus just about for both songs. It's miraculous.
This one's better.
Ew.
This one's really uplifting.
Yeah.
It's more of a euphoric moment when they're pointing each other on the staircase. It's brilliant. Morrison's got no top on. What more do you want?
Using the same chorus for every song. They're the AC/DC of 2020. Drew McIntyre beat Bobby Lashley after Lana showed up at ringside and ruined things for her husband. Match of the night for me, easily. Just two big, beefy gets throwing each other around with reckless abandon. Loved their series in TNA 2015. Loved seeing it here. Go on, Bobby. What you got, Ross?
Exactly your sentiments. It was just a shame that, I guess, well, no, it's not a shame because it's now over, the whole Lana getting involved and sort of ruining the match, but that led to them two getting divorced, so good. It's a shame it's taken Bobby Lashley so long to find MVP. I know he had Leo Rush for a bit as well, I guess. Who do you prefer, by the way, lads? MVP or Leo Rush in that role?
In that role, MVP.
Oh, Maffew?
If he wins a title, MVP. God. We all need
like
that
Leo
one
Rush.
mate. Oh, we all like Leo Rush.
In that role, I thought it was made for him. But yeah, it's good to see Bobby Lashley being what Bobby Lashley should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Bobby.
Go on, Bobby.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. You can, man. You can. Jack?
I liked it as well. I thought it was a really good match. There was the scary bit where Drew nearly landed on his head, but apart from that, it was really, really good. So, and the right person won, because I think if Drew's reign had ended, it would have been way too soon. So I'm glad that Drew won as well.
But I can definitely see Lashley winning next time because it is.
Oh, in the future.
Absolutely, because it is. Let's look at the calendar. Yes, it is Extreme Rules time, which means if you like these matches, you'll love them next time with a gimmick. And speaking of gimmicks, Jack's match of the night next: the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. Also in brackets, Akira Tozawa has a ninja army now, probably because they're allowed facial protection. So Jack, bless you. How you doing, mate?
I really hated it, obviously, and I made my feelings very clear. But it turns out quite a lot of people actually liked it, and I came across as a massive gatekeeping arsehole. I'm really sorry, everyone. I don't know what got into me. I made the mistake, Maffew, of caring about wrestling again, like when I was a kid, and I shouldn't have done that. Why did he use the Force to get the turkey leg? I just didn't think it was funny. I'm fine with comedy and wrestling, but I didn't think the jokes were landing here. For me. I'll soften my stance. What did you guys think of it?
Ross?
I wasn't taken by either, but I was again sat there making my crappy little WTF moments. And I was sat there going, why is there golf clubs backstage? Why is there that there? Why do you roll the ball so slow and stuff like that? And you just sit there again and remember these cinematic matches. Who gives a toss? Just let them do what they're going to do. The ninjas happened then, though, and then what I thought was a tentacle from an octopus in the dumpster that attacked them. And then I was thinking, what the hell's going on? I don't know what to make of these things anymore, is my conclusion from that matchup. I'm just happy, though, now. We're going to see them wrestle a professional wrestling match. That's coming up on Monday, I think it is. And I'm very much looking forward to that. We've sat through this bollocks for them to become friends. It's all been a waste of time. But they've gave it their all. That's all I'll say. They've been given utter crap and made it a little bit entertaining. But now, I don't know what to make of it. Help us.
I'll help. Tag me in.
Go on then.
I like the idea of the cinematic wrestling universe that they were going for when they had cool ideas. Boneyard match, way. Firefly Funhouse, way. I think they have ran out of good ideas and are literally throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And I'm like you guys, I didn't think anything of this, but I also wasn't a fan of the comedy skits because it just wasn't my thing. Like, okay, cool, this is hopefully for somebody. Apparently the intended audience was everybody who follows Jack. That's fine, mate. I hope you liked it. I just went back and watched Big Bobby again. Had a time of your life. So I'm still pro the idea of cinematic matches, but, you know...
Rein it in a bit.
Just, yeah...
It's a big fear in it. Just like, do one every half a year, one every couple of months, not one every single pay-per-view. I hope we don't get to where we have to have one cinematic match per pay-per-view until things are back to normal. Because then you are scraping the barrel for stuff that fills that thing instead of doing things for the right reasons.
Right. It's no longer cinematic matches. It's straight to YouTube matches, to be fair. And the main event, and possibly the main reason why people are talking about this show, and one of these refuge and audacity moments, I think many people wouldn't have even thought about Backlash if they hadn't used the greatest wrestling match ever thing. Because a lot of people seemed interested in this based on that alone. And I thought it was fascinating what they did to this. If you didn't see it, ladies and gentlemen, you just watched Cultaholic. That's a bit weird, but thank you. They started off the match by having the voice of the now passed away Howard Finkel, the old school MSG microphone that Mr. Kennedy tried to grab, but he was escorted out, and Little Nate in the classic blue attire. And he was like, okay. And then you could hear the blatantly piped in crowd noises. And I was just like, it was supposed to be like, you ever see the Blues Brothers?
Bits. Maybe a long time ago.
There's a bit near the end where basically they have to stall for time. And they're like, oh no, we need to play. And Cab Calloway's there. And they go, all right, cool. And he just bursts out the Minnie the Moocher, this classic song they used to sing. But like everyone behind him turns into like the 1930s, a swing band, and the entire thing just changes. And no one ever says, hey, hang on, that's all changed there. Hang on, suddenly you're like way younger than you used to be. Hang on. And then as soon as the song's over, the film goes back to normal. It's never mentioned again.
Oh.
And this is what this reminded me of. It's like WWE was saying, look, we're going to do as much as we can to make this as dramatic as possible. And having all that stuff at the start eased you in and goes, all right, if you accept this, you'll like the rest of the match. If not, switch off and go watch Undertaker Last Ride. So, as regards the match, I was all right with it. And then the multiple kickouts started. And then I started liking it some more. So it was very interesting. I think they, like him doing the Impaler, him doing the rock bottom, and him doing that, it worked. And it was the greatest wrestling match that these two were capable of. What did you think?
Yeah,
Joe?
I agree. I thought it was a really, like a hell of an effort from both guys. I know there's a bit of a debate going on whether how much it can be measured against other matches because it wasn't, live. It was, they reshot some things. Apparently that's one of the spots that Edge hurt himself on was like a reshoot. But I liked it generally. I thought it was really good. It might be Randy Orton's best match ever, or one of. The Foley one's good as well.
Yeah, Foley.
But I think it's one of Randy's best performances ever. And there was the bit that I really started enjoying it was when Edge, do you remember WrestleMania 24 when Edge had clearly learned how to counter all of Undertaker's big moves? And he started doing that with Orton, and then he was hitting like the Edge-o-matic and everything. I thought, oh, this is really, really good. But the presentation of it felt really patronizing. It was a clever marketing tool because it got people watching, but I felt like I was being a bit patronized by the crowd noise and everything. But as far as their performance goes, I thought it was a really, really good one. Ross, what did you think?
I absolutely loved it, me, because when you see Charles Robinson in the baby blue and all the bells and whistles at the start, and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a bit cringy, this. And then you start watching it, and it starts off slow and methodical and then tactical, and then it built up to a modern day NXT takeover main event, the kickouts, the finishes. And then when you come to the end, you realise it was literally just a tribute. It's the old Tenacious D thing. It's not the greatest match ever. It was a tribute. It was a tribute to everything great about professional wrestling. And when that sort of settled in and resonated, I was like, whoa, that was amazing, that. And the sad thing for me is you take away all the what they call it, the enhanced viewing experience, the crowd noise, the camera angles. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. Some of them reminded me of like when you're watching just a movie and they do like wrestling during the movie and it's done by people who don't understand what pro wrestling is. Had that kind of vibe for me. But if you took away all of that and those two just had the match they had, you might be sat there saying to yourself, bloody hell, that might have been, a match of the year maybe, or something like that, without them putting all the bells and whistles on. I thought that took away a lot from the match itself, but I thought it was a great match, mate. Loved it.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that you were patronised there, because I think the build-up was horrible, but that's I'm numb to WWE going hashtag network. I'm like, yeah, all right. But I like to think that it's nice when WWE emphasises the positives or something, and they did absolutely everything here.
That's true. That's very true. That is true. Yeah, it was different.
Me being positive.
It felt like it was a bit at first, didn't it? It felt like it was a bit of a shot at internet smarky attitudes, like, oh, that you think that's the greatest match? We'll show you a WWE branded greatest match. But you're right, it did come across a lot more positive than. Although the bit where they're doing the ring announcement and you've still got the greatest show playing in the background was really funny. I wish I was inside Randy Orton's head, standing there all serious, and in the background it's just whoa. It's so good.
Yeah, that was Backlash. Two reasons to give it a try. Yeah. Also, if there's anything else to do right now. And that was the news.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame.
And now time for everyone's favouriteest segment, the Hall of Fame. Before we get into that, though, what we've been doing the last few weeks is we've been putting serious stuff and silly stuff and serious stuff, and it's looking back on it, it's like, okay, are we really being nice to things that we'll put in the Hall of Fame? If we're saying, thank you very much for your effort, you can join the ranks of Ross's pants. And that one time Sam tried to get a coffee endorsement. That's how much we appreciate you. So instead we'll have the honorary section of the Hall of Fame. And we're all putting in this week Marcus Rashford. Yeah. Daniel to his friends. For basically doing better than most politicians for helping kids with the free school meals program. Can't even speak this week, I'm sorry. And helping a lot of people out that otherwise probably wouldn't have gotten the help if someone like him had said, oi, why not? And even the politicians have to go, oh yeah, all right. So thank you very much, Marcus Rashford. We'll put you in the special, no, really, we really appreciate your help section. And it also means that we can be as silly as possible with the Hall of Fame selections. Now we've put the serious bit out the way. Yeah, there we go, back to normal. So in condescending order from last week, the Sid Vicious Twitter account was last place with 10%. Sorry, crap. The WWE Backlash hook set, swing 38%. Swing and a miss. Io Shirai, because she made Jack look clever, 52%. Well done, Jack. Good pick there. You can go first.
My pick this week is a plug. It's a shameless plug disguised as a pick, which, to be fair, quite a lot of them are. I'm going to pick the great game of Football Manager because it's lockdown. I know that Animal Crossing's really took off since lockdown. I've not personally played it myself, but I see the appeal. It's time consuming. It's a nice atmosphere. It's got a community vibe. Football Manager is also time consuming, but in a far more stressful way, obviously. I'm sure that a lot of people have played it, and it's the worst game ever, but it's also the best game ever in a different way. The reason that I'm mentioning Football Manager, and why not let us tell your stories of your Football Manager saves since the lockdown in the bloody comments section down below. But the reason that I'm mentioning it is because myself and my flatmate Owen, / editor of one of the editors here at Cultaholic, Owen, are going to be doing a Football Manager career on Twitch soon. And guess what? It's starting tomorrow. So if you find the Cultaholic Twitch, there'll be announcements and stuff on Twitter and everything. And you can see us. I mean, I'm not going to reveal which team we're going to take control of, but it's fairly obvious if you know much about... If you followed your Cultaholic lore over the years. But yeah, Football Manager, great game, bloody great dog. That's my pick.
Good times. I think I brought it up before because I swear Champman's been brought up before in the past, but it's the only game my dad has accidentally pulled an all-nighter on. I was at school and I came down to get ready for school, and he goes, "What do you want? You hungry or something?" I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, why are you downstairs at this time?" I went, "Dad, it's 7 a.m. And he went, "I've got work." You know? Don't know what he did. Good times. Ross, what have you got?
Just speaking about the Backlash main event there has brought up things in my mind. I'm going to go for Randy Orton's levels of poo-housery. Because we've all seen the stuff on Twitter with Tommaso Ciampa recently, and then only Randy Orton would go and win the greatest wrestling match ever after a million kickouts and a good old meaty slap to the thigh. So Randy Orton, I think he faked buying a plane as well, which worked. The Undertaker, brother. I think Undertaker bought Luke Hyde the Singer. So yeah, Randy Orton for being a bastard. There you go. Fantastic. There should be more of that kind of behaviour in the world. Maffew?
Letting that poo-housery sink in. I watched NXT this week. I did. And one thing I noticed, because I was getting tweets about it, ring camps on NXT now. No, not the Imperium team. Breezango showed up as Disco Ring Camp. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm calling them Ring Camp from now on. It's official. Everyone needs to go to the Wikipedia page and change Breezango, aka the new Ring Camp. The new and improved 33% less fat Ring Camp.
This is like the Parker situation.
Yes.
I can't work out who's who.
Yeah, I mean, they're better than the other Imperium, so they have to be the proper ones, right? I mean, just common sense says that.
I'd love it if Walter finally turns back up looking for his boys, and it's them. And he's like, "What? Who are you?" And they're just like, "All right, we're Ring Camp, mate."
He sees them both, they're like, Imperium are there and Breezango are there, and he goes, "Hello? Alice Clare." And it's go along and be like, "Oh, yeah, we're Ring Camp, yeah, sure." So, yeah, it is Breezango's Ring Camp entrance. You can call him Imperium if you want. I'm not picky. I don't blame you for not being cool. This week on NXT, because, God, they've been good since they returned. If they left. I'm not sure if they just showed up and I started paying attention.
Yeah, no, they did take some time off, yeah.
Yeah, oh, good. Thank you for that. Wow, 3 amazing picks. Yeah. This week, and if you want to vote for now, is it Football Manager?
Football Manager.
The current, current Football Manager. But accept it if you have some residual love for Champman. Randy Orton, Pooh Hauser special. Oof, that did not work at all, did it? Captain Pooh Housery, we'll say. That sounds even better. And Breezango as Imperium. All of these votes can be yours if you go to patreon.com/Cultaholic.
This week in the wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
This week in wrestling. Let's start off with SmackDown.
Every time. Oh, SmackDown.
Because I'm still used to SmackDown being at the end of the week, but when we do it, it's the start of the week. So this is pre-Backlash. Sheamus makes Jeff Hardy take a urine test before their match at Backlash. Oh, yeah. Jeff throws his wee-wee all over Sheamus. Way, lads, it says here. And as many people pointed out, for the old people who still watch wrestling, what's wrong with you? Word for word, did the Shawn Michaels bit with DX, Shane McMahon. It must be a really good line, a really good film that they saw this in years ago, because I've only ever seen it in wrestling. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. So,
what?
I thought it was funny. Oh, sorry, go on. You say something.
How much? No, just how big was the sample?
How dry was the sample? It was pretty dark, wasn't it?
He was dehydrated.
Drink some more water, Jeffrey.
A lot of Sunny D in that jug.
Do we all know who the doctor was?
No.
Oh, God. Find it on Reddit. Someone found, obviously it was an actor that WWE hired, but somebody found some of that doctor's previous work, And I don't think WWE must have known what he did in the past, and I'm not going to speak about it any further there. Just go and find the video. I'm sure if you Google SmackDown Jeff Hardy Sheamus Doctor, it'll come up what he did in the past, and it's quite something. That's all I'm going to do. A quick dab to finish, and then you should.
That's thrown me right off.
Oh,
I need to
it's
go
something.
now. Was it Dr. Sahorian? Never mind. I think Jeff could resolve the situation very peacefully by just going, I'll do a urine test. If you do one as well, Sheamus. And she was like, well, sorry, I'll see you on Sunday.
Celtic Warrior Workouts is totally clear. How dare you?
Yeah, that's the... New Day came out and took a knee. Good lads. Before losing to Cesaro and Nakamura. Oh.
I mean, if there was ever a time to give them a win, just give them a win then.
No, you got to keep Cesaro and Nakamura strong.
Yeah.
Never mind that. Styles and Bryan had a fantastic match in the finals of the IC title tournament. Nearly 40 minutes of action. Belter. And many people are thinking that they had this because on Sunday they were having the greatest match ever, so these guys are like, oh yeah, we'll see about that. But what do you think about it, Ross? You get better news than me.
Well, maybe there was a bit of that, because there's an argument that could be said that was the best bloody hell, Ross. The best match of last week. It could be said that Bryan and Styles had that. But I just think they're putting a renewed effort into making the Intercontinental Championship mean something with the promo package beforehand. That match went 38 minutes, because watching that belt, and with the US title, I guess it's suffered the same thing, but to a lesser extent, because the Intercontinental Championship meant more to begin with. It's really suffered over the past few years, just dwindling down to meaning nothing. So hopefully now it'll be made the top title, well, you know what I mean, on TV at least, the top title on SmackDown, because it should be. That's how it was in our childhood, wasn't it? So hopefully that was the first step to make it mean something again.
Lovely, Ross. Lovely thoughts.
It was a lovely promo package that just skipped over Chris Jericho completely. Understandable, of course, but you'd think to be the bigger man in this day and age, but no, still petty as ever.
Especially seeing how he keeps on putting over Roman Reigns on Twitter.
Yeah. Lovely man, Roman, apparently.
I've missed that. Oh, is he just genuinely nice about him?
It says, what was he saying? If they let Roman just be himself, he'd be the most over guy in wrestling history, or something he keeps saying.
Oh. And Strowman and Heavy Machinery face Miz, Morrison and Ziggler. Midway through the match, Corbin hits on Mandy backstage, but Otis rushes back there to save the day and returns to the arena to help the good guys win. Wow, this sounds fantastic, Jack. How was it?
Yeah, it was very average. I don't know what else to say. That description is what happened. Nice big babyface win, end the show. Great. Any more thoughts?
I got reminded of those reports from maybe a year ago or so, saying a large reason for Corbin's push in Vince McMahon's eyes is because how Vince thought women would fancy Corbin that much and find him so handsome and stuff. So maybe that is actually true, based off what we saw in that segment there. Yeah, that was a handheld.
Maybe Corbin's one of those people who, in real life, is far more attractive than what they are.
He does seem like a lovely, likable fella. He just, when you see him in interviews and stuff, he seems like a nice guy.
Pacini met him. He said he was really nice, and he's not unattractive. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with him, but he's no Roman Reigns, for example. What a dreamboat!
Or the Butcher from AEW.
Mm-hmm. I saw you tweeted him.
That wardrobe he's got, the glasses, the head of hair, and everything. It's just I want to know where he gets his clothes. He retweeted someone else's reply though and didn't reply to me, so I think I've been royally shafted by the Butcher.
Oh,
bastard!
You never want to get shafted by a butcher. Anyway, Baron Corbin there. Men want him and women want to be him. On Monday Night Raw, Randy Orton opened the show by gloating about beating and injuring Edge. Says he tore the tricep right off the bone. But luckily, he says he's a nice guy. He'll give him a rematch when he's healed up in 2029.
He did say that.
That's a good line there. He's confronted by Christian. To quote Matt Striker, it's Christian. And challenges him to an unsanctioned match. In the main event, 800-year-old Ric Flair tries to convince Christian not to have the match. Christian goes, no, I want one more match. So Flair low blows him, and Orton punts him in the head for 3. Orton has a breakdown and blames Christian for making him do this. And it says here in my notes, push young Randall to the moon.
He's doing the best work. He's doing the best work of his life. He's doing the best work. He's great.
Yep. Any thoughts there, Ross?
It's a travesty that Orton hasn't been a psychopath all the way through since the Legend Killer days ended, because that's what he is, isn't it? It's his calling in life, being a psychopath. Fantastic. Because I was predicting Edge to beat Orton just so Edge can go off and face other people. But now if they're going to rely on this sort of thing to add more fuel to the fire and have a bigger blow-off match between Edge and Orton, I'm all for it. It was great.
All I'm saying is he tore the tricep of Edge at Backlash. He punted Christian on Raw. All I'm saying is Rhino needs to watch out.
Oh, you was thinking Gangrel.
Oh, yeah, that was what...
The Brood versus Evolution.
Oh!
Yes!
Survivor Series, it's happening.
Imagine.
All right, lads, fanging and banging.
Imagine the reunion. What have you been up to? Oh, we've won like everything. What have you been up to, Gangrel?
Made a bit of porn.
Yeah,
I was in the Human Centipede 3.
Was he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
Oh, why not?
Was it the second or the third one where your man's... It's one of the first scenes and your man sat there, the security guard fella, and he sat there with some sandpaper.
No, is that the one with the doctor from SmackDown in it?
Because I remember watching that scene in one of them. It's either the second or the third one. I turned it off. It was like, it's a bit too much for me, though.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them. I
seen
know
the
all
first
of them,
one.
know what they are, read the plot, and went, nah, no thanks, that's plenty.
I've seen the South Park. I've seen the South Park spoof. That's good.
Cool, moving on.
Oh.
Lana comes to the ring, explain her actions, and the segment ends with Lashley getting a divorce, so well done, Lana. I think this is for the best for them because Lashley Lana was going nowhere. I think they gave up what they actually were going to do with Lana at this point, so...
Oh no, she's getting a new team with Natalia. That's where she's going now.
That seemed like it, yeah.
I don't know what the link is there, apart from Total Divas, obviously, but who knows what might happen.
Probably yelling.
I forgot to put that in the notes. It was hard to write the notes for this week's Raw because everything was interconnected. Like wrestlers everything bled into each other, which isn't a bad thing to be fair. Could be good. It's the era of Brucey P.
I was going to say how there's been that much news happening that we forgot about that. Yeah, Heyman is out.
Yeah.
Brucey P is in.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, there's no fans in the attendance, so he can't get what's known in some businesses as the Brother Love Pop.
He certainly put his stamp on things already, hasn't he, with the Tozawa stuff and
Yeah.
MVP using that word, which I learned this week. I had no idea what that meant when speaking about it on video, and now I do, and it's a bit oof. So Brucey P has got his stamp on Raw.
That's right, he's good in the brands that are as red as his face. Angel Garza loses to Kevin Owens, partly due to his constant bickering with Andrade. Zelina tells them they need to get on the same page. Two people not on the same page. Just done that bit. Moving on to the Raiders and Profits.
Lashley and Lana.
Yeah, I've ruined it. I'm sorry.
That's all
the
right.
Raiders and Profits beat Tozawa and some of his ninjas. That's right. Those were their names. In a tag match before Tozawa brings the huge dude into the ring.
No, his name is the Big Ninja. I don't know. It was the way Tom Phillips kept saying that. I was like, how man? We're better than this, aren't we? I know we don't know anything about him, but don't go the Big Ninja.
Big Ninja, go. Big Ninja, go. The good guys are backed up by The Big Show, who is now a face again. Anyone counting at home? No. Tozawa, who's just made his debut 2 shows ago, and his big pal, back off. Yep. Ray is on the Tron again and tries to convince Rollins not to hurt his son. Rollins says he actually wants Dominic to join his stable of quick flippy dudes, but if Dominic doesn't accept, he'll also become a sacrifice. Dominic is actually in the arena and jumps Seth before escaping like Aladdin from the palace guards.
He does. He's like one step ahead of all that. Yeah, he's doing really well.
He's like, get him. You fools, we've all got swords.
We've all got swords.
And Asuka beats Nia Jax after their draw at Backlash, but only does so via roll-up and a fast count.
Why?
John Cohen screwed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looked like he was going to
Shocking.
DQ it, didn't do it, then a fast count. I don't understand that.
Get him
I felt
slapped.
sorry for Nia.
Oh, she's not like most girls.
She's the Sheffield United of Raw.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And you can send your complaints to mailbag at cultaholics.com. AEW now. Kenny and Hangman successfully defended their tag titles against the formidable opponents of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. Ali tries to encourage QT, but it doesn't work. So I think we've got a recurring theme this week in wrestling is that women ruin everything. It was still a good match. It's amazing. Joke. It was amazing that QT and Dustin were able to look so good against these two, considering how high up Kenny and Hangman are. So
I don't know why you're so shocked, Maffew, because QT and Dustin, the Natural Nightmares, have a record of 5-0 in AEW tag team matches. They're the best. 5-0.
Oh, well, 5-1 now. So
Yeah.
QT did look impressive though. His space flying tiger thing the outside. I think I got the name right. Jack, you know about that. What do you think of it?
Oh, I quite liked it. I thought it was a nice, fun match to open the show. It wasn't the best thing on Dynamite because there was some absolute bait and switches that got me later on, but this wasn't one of them. The champions were obviously going to win, but it was good fun. I don't know what's going to happen with Ali and QT though. I'm not fully invested in that.
Highlight of the match though. Britt Baker at ringside. Sorry, Dr. Britt
Hi.
Baker ringside. Getting Rebel to send messages to Tony Schiavone commentating via a pulley system.
Oh,
So he's like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." Oh, thank you.
I don't like your green tie.
And I love that dynamic they have because I've realised what it is now. It's Tony's Kermit the Frog and she's Miss Piggy. Love it so much. Anna Jay, I think they did a nice bit on the next match. Anna Jay's like, hey, the next match, Anna Jay gets a shout out. Shit's a highlight. New wrestler, Anna Jay, woohoo, facing Abaddon,
Whoa.
who came out, absolutely wiped the floor with her and pinned her very quickly. And then the Dark Order come out, try to recruit Anna Jay, presented Cabana with a letter, and it's actually revealed as a contract for a future tag match alongside Brody Lee, which he accepts. And all that happened in about 3 minutes.
There was a lot going on, but it was really well done. I mean, I like the playing on our expectations of what a wrestling show is. Because, she's got the video package. She's the one who's going to... This is going to be like a squash match, basically, for this new wrestler. And then she comes up against a demon who can do a Hurricane Rana from the floor. So what are you going to do? Have that.
No. And then Big Swole kidnapped Britt Baker, just like The Undertaker, and left her in a bin. And then when Rebel found her, she's like, where have you been? I've been here 6 hours. She went, you're fired. She went, oh, all right then. She walked out. I went, no, you're rehired. Love it. Cody's open challenge this week, and surprising the hell out of me, Anyway TV champion Ricky Starks. All right. So he gets a nice little video package. Arn Anderson's doing that thing. Was like, yeah, want you to fight the best. They have a great little match. Cody wins, but Ricky looks very impressive in the match. And according to the Twitter machine, no, the good Twitter machine, don't worry, they saw him midway through the match and went, yeah, we'll offer him a contract.
Was
And
that
then,
real?
Before the match was finished, they'd already figured out what they were going to be doing with him in a few months' time.
Is that
according to
real?
reports online. That's what it says online. If it's online, then it must be true. So well done, Ricky. You know about him. Jack, what do you think?
No, I don't. I'm actually very unfamiliar with Ricky
NWA.
Starks. No, Tom's more the NWA guy, but I have. No, I didn't. I thought I went to a Fight Club Pro show he was on once, but people were talking about him having been at the previous Fight Club Pro show. But from the 2 matches I'd seen of his previously, yeah, he's really good. and he looks like a heel. He looks like a heel. He looks like an arse. Like a pretty one, but he looks like a heel, so I hope he's a heel.
Looks like a pretty arse. Ross, what do you think?
I'm shocked he did get offered an AEW contract because he died at the end of that match. That, on his head, that thing he took, the crossroads of Cody where he sort of landed on his head, it had me going. I was thinking, oh my God, he's gone. But the debuts, they've nailed them recently because we had the issues with the Butcher and the Blade many moons ago, and who are they? Dead air. Who are they? And now we've got the bait and switch. Because Anna Jay was speaking about having to prove herself, and it got proved that she does need to prove herself. And the first thing you see Ricky Starks saying is, "Hello, I'm Ricky Starks, a former NWA TV champion. I am good." We know it's good. Debuts are worked out now. They know how to do them now. Good stuff. Yeah. Fun. Great.
I agree that they're improving a lot of what they used to be, and they've learned from their mistakes. How shocking is that? Anyway, best friends beat Jericho and Guevara to keep their tag title shot at Fyter Fest, but they only won because that sneaky cameraman tripped up Sammy. Who was that cameraman? It was Orange Cassidy. This guy's the cameraman, maybe the entire show, maybe not. Who watches the cameraman of these things? And he batters Jericho, and everyone's realizing, oh no, he's using full force. We're getting serious. Orange Cassidy versus Jericho at Fyter Fest. Dun dun dun.
I just really like the way you went. But who was that cameraman? It was Orange Cassidy. It just really got me for some reason. I really like that. That was good.
Trying to make it sound exciting as possible.
Yeah.
And that man was the man who works for AEW. And the Young Bucks. All gone.
This was another bait and switch for me because I really thought that Jericho and Sammy were going to win, especially when there was a really good false finish where they distracted the ref and then Sammy used the bat and then did the shooting star press, but then Trent kicked out because he's wrestled in Japan before, so he knows how to kick out. But hey, banter, yeah.
Way. And also Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian wrestled the Young Bucks. They lost to them, despite Jimmy Havoc's ability to just generate objects from behind him. So it's a great gimmick for him. It's like you just cut cameras, look, and he's just got a hammer. It's like awesome, man. Sadly, that didn't help them. The FTR and the very well dressed Butcher and the Blade joined in for a ruckus at the end. Spike pile drivers for both teams and a stare off from FTR and the Young Bucks. Ooh. Any thoughts there, Ross, at the well dressed man?
Fwa.
Thank you, Ross. NXT, Imperium defend their tag titles, beating the other Imperium. Afterwards, Dexter Lumis seems to propose the idea of a tag team to Velveteen Dream, but Dream isn't too keen. I like the rhyming there, but the way it was done was Dream was on a couch going blah, 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 and then he just creeps up and puts a picture there and then comes back and he's like, What's this? It's like the old guy at the end of Brum finding something that he's brought home with him. And he goes, no. Dream's strictly a solo act. So I like Dexter Lumis being a Daft Killer guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. Ross?
I haven't been able to see this week's NXT again because I've got other work to do, so I'll leave this segment to you two.
You just hate NXT, you.
I'm just too much of an AEW shill, Tony. No, I just have to do a website as well, so I don't have time.
Makes sense.
We send those messages to Tony Khan. Loads of money. Robert Stone has been drinking since Chelsea Green fired him weeks ago. No, we can all empathise with that. He's sick in the ring during Alia versus Zia Lee, which helps, kind of helps her win. Gave her a roll up. Yeah. 1, 2, kicks out. No, that's the finish. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you going to do? So look what you're missing out on, Ross.
Did you see the sick?
That guy was sick.
Did you see the sick? Oh, terrible.
It's like Gangrel when he saw a scene in Human Centipede 3. Undisputed Era take Roddy Strong to therapy to help him get over being kidnapped by Dexter Lumis. But the therapist is just Kyle O'Reilly, so it doesn't really help. A little later, Keith Lee wants Cole's NXT Championship, while Gargano and Balor want Lee's North American title. So Regal announces Lee versus Balor versus Gargano next week for the North American title And the winner goes on to face Cole in a title versus title match on July 8th. That's interesting. What do you think, Jack?
It is interesting. That's when Fyter Fest Part 2 is. Maybe they've done it on purpose. I don't know. No. But I think that triple threat could be really, really good. And then I think, regardless of who wins it, the title match could also be really, really good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, how dare you say that they'll go head-to-head with them. In other news, Evolve had a closing down party announced for Fyter Fest weekend. No, they don't. Santos Escobar comes out with his goons. They're confronted by Drake Maverick, who attacks the silly boy, it says here. He's beaten down and put through a table and gets stretched out. Not very nice, is it? But
no.
It's not much happening with Santos Escobar yet to judge if they are going to go with the Colombian drug lord thing, but every week I'm waiting to see it happen. And then Sasha and Bayley defend their tag titles against Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, and after the match they're attacked and chased off by Io Shirai, who's Jack's favourite. So what do you think?
Yeah, she's good. It was a good match. It's just nice to see Sasha and Bayley back in NXT, but I wish there'd been a crowd, like a crowd of fans. What did you think?
I like it. It's Sasha and Bayley. I'm just waiting for it to get to the end, to be honest with you, at this point. You know, yeah, you know what they're going with, but we've seen this before. We've seen this 3 years ago, and it got teased and nothing happened. So I'm just like, all right, lads, come on.
I think they'll do it at Summerfest.
Yes. Which is a long time ago. Sweet. Long time away. Jesus Christ,
yes.
I'm running out of steam.
Oh, no.
Hey, look, hey, that was the Week in Wrestling. How great is this podcast? Woo!
Let's have a rummage in our mailbags.
Now it's time to have a little look in the mailbag. Number 1, Tobecon hire to Maffew, Jack, Ross, and or any substitutions. How dare you say we'd have any substitutions here. With Matt Riddle recently moving to SmackDown, it would seem that WWE have a star of the future. A call-up that would be nearly impossible for them to screw up. However, I've said the same thing about other call-ups, and they haven't panned out as well. One of the saddest of these stories is that Trevor Man. What? While Ricochet was featured...
Trevor Man's his name.
Oh, is it?
He's called, Trevor Man.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually know that.
No.
While Ricochet was featured somewhat regularly on Raw for a while, I can't believe that he's now lucky to turn up on main event. Right, he's lucky if he turns up on main event. That's what it says. This is baffling to me, as he is one of the best high flyers in wrestling and is deceptively strong too. I was reflecting on his NXT run and thinking back to all his takeover matches. I don't think he had a single dud in the bunch, and I couldn't even pick out his weakest one. With that in mind, what is your favourite Ricochet takeover match? Keep up the good work, gang. You'rethebomb.com. Oh, that's nice. That's from Captain Shins from Maine, USA. Is that like a reference? Have I just said something rude? Captain Shins.
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Captain of all the Shins. And here's a list of Trevor's takeover matches for reference. Take our New Orleans 6-man ladder match. Well, who can forget that?
Yeah.
Take our Chicago 2 versus Velveteen Dream. Take over Brooklyn 4 versus Adam Cole for the North American title. War Games 2018 versus Johnny Gargano at Take Our Phoenix. And Take Our New York Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the War Raiders.
Oh, that one was sick as well.
Oh. Okay, a lot to digest there. Ricochet has can't miss all over him. But what was his best takeover match? Jack, you can go first.
Well, before you'd read them out, I was going to say Gargano versus Ricochet, because that was a really, really good match. But then once you read the list of them out, that tag team match against the Viking Raiders was really, really good. And I was a huge fan of that War Games match in particular as well, because it had tactics. So I'll go for the War Games match, I'll go for the War Games match.
Oh, interesting pick. What have you got, Ross?
Before you read that list out, Matthew, I was thinking about that ladder match. But then after hearing that list, Matthew, I again, like Jack, was going with the War Games match because of the tactics and the big old... he did off the top of the cage. 25 somersaults in the air. Astonishing. Yeah. What are you picking?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain and go the ladder match. because that is still the best ever takeover to me. Oh, that match.
Yeah.
More stars in that match than there were in the sky at night. So, I think Ricochet will be all right on Raw. Like, based on absolutely nothing, I'm just trying to...
I thought he's in a tag team now, isn't he? Was Cedric? Is that not a thing anymore?
Didn't they lose to Brandon Vink and Shane Thorne?
They're not a thing anymore. Do you remember when they were there? MVP was the manager, wasn't he?
What happened with that?
MVP
Bloody hell.
MVP cleaned his glasses and went, oh. Oof. Oh. Anyway. Greetings and salutations, fellas. Now, I know you guys were enthralled by the Casualty Wrestler, yes, from a few weeks back, which seems as awful as it sounded, and the concept of sending Kevin Nash and Dolph Ziggler to start in Emmerdale. But as you may or may not know, Emmerdale did actually feature a wrestling-based story, and I do know this because my mum messages about us. Last year, local vet Paddy Kirk discovered that his father was not the man who raised him, but professional wrestler Bear Wolf.
Bear Wolf?
He goes to
Lots of wolves.
He goes to Belfast, where there is a ring and a pub, and he is mistaken for local favourite Mr. Rice.
Mr. Rice?
Mr. Rice is also a larger bald man who wears a green superhero mask and cape, which the locals put on him.
What?
He is then faced by a terrifying clown, who he is naturally frightened by while he explains this. Fortunately, Bear Wolf enters the ring in his fur coat, where he howls and tells Paddy to run, howls again and tells the clown, "Don't make the wolf howl again," and leaves. The fans boo because this is an awful finish to WrestleFest and they are not happy. Who'd have thought so many smarks would be in this Belfast pub?
Wait. So is wrestling real in this? In the
this and every other media.
Why was the clown actually going to hurt? Not the real Mr. Rice, but Mr. Rice 2.
Mr. Rice 2! Not Mr. that Rice. LA Park, the other the park.
Mr. Rice, Mr. El Hijo del Mr. Rice.
Mr. Rice. I don't know. I'll try and read this. A great scene which also features Paddy's best friend Marlo doing a horrible Irish accent. Great stuff. Anyway, to the question. What things in other media remind you of wrestling? For me, soaps often remind me of WWE. They love an illegitimate son storyline. Bear with me, folks. And also suck at building new stars. My mum has sworn off Emmerdale for exclusively writing off young, popular characters to focus on the old classics and ruin them in progress.
His mum's an Emmerdale smark? That's brilliant. She's like, we're sick of seeing the Dingles. Get some new blood in. Come on.
Whenever I go home and they have to watch Emmerdale, it's their religion is to watch Emmerdale at 7 p.m. It's the same people. Like the last 2 years, whenever I watched it, it's like, oh yeah, there's Paddy, there's Marlon, there's the Dingles, there's the exact same people running the pub.
I think that 4 episodes a year are going to be in Saudi Arabia, aren't they? Coming up?
With the exact same cast, yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
We're here for our quarterly vacation in Saudi Arabia.
No, Shadrack's managed to somehow sneak in to Saudi Arabia.
They're livid when they find out it's a dry country. Where's the wool pack? It's not. It's a dry country.
What does that mean, Cheryl? Oh, God.
I just thought it was dead warm.
Hey, whatever. Can't say that. Love the podcast, guys. Thanks for all you do with this. I was going to go with dry eyes, and I realised it was going to be, So I just love the podcast, guys. Thanks for all you do with this and all the other content. And fear not, clips of Emmerdale's wrestling is available on YouTube.
Oh,
Reese from Sussex.
Thank you, Reese.
Thank you 100 times, Reese. Bloody, I couldn't even read half of that because my eyes was squinting that much and I was laughing that hard. What was the question? Stuff that reminds you of wrestling and other things that aren't wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Dunno. Ross, what do you think?
When you asked the question there, it was a game between Leicester City and Manchester United at Old Trafford. And I live tweeted it just so Americans understood more than anything. I've generalised that terribly. Leicester were Daniel Bryan going up against Triple H, who were Manchester United, and I live tweeted it as if it was like that. So there you go. It was like the underdog against the big corporate thing. Jack?
I'm going to go for a sport as well, but I'm going to go for Formula One. Because if you follow a Formula One season, there's all these stories that unfold, and it's almost like a kind of a run from pay-per-view. Like, it's almost like a year in wrestling. And there's villains and there's heroes, and they go, like, it's in different places, they travel around. And often, not always, but often, Formula One drivers are larger-than-life characters. A great example would be Kimi Räikkönen, who's like the funniest Formula One driver ever. He crashed once at Monaco and then just walked off and got on his yacht because it was there. Yeah, just in the middle of the race, he just couldn't be arsed. So I'm going to go for Formula One. Maffew, have you thought of one?
Nah, so I got my old favourite, just like what Ross said. Alex Ferguson, the Mr. McMahon of the mid-90s football scene versus Kevin Keegan, the working man, the Steve Austin.
Kevin Keegan's not Steve Austin.
He was to me back then. I know it's not exactly true, but still. Except it's nothing like that because Mr. McMahon won in the end, so we'll move quickly on. And I'll just try and not think about Emmerdale going to Saudi Arabia. Because they did the single, didn't they, with the Dingles Down Under? They actually do
Dingles Down Under?
My God, my mum had that. Was that on VHS?
Yeah.
Was it a VHS or a single? I remember the cover being blue, I think.
My mum had the VHS. What was the Emmerdale song? The Dingle song?
No idea.
Whatever, anyway, we're going massively off topic, which is completely atypical for us, obviously. Anyway, all right, lads. I've been playing a lot of the WWE 2K games on lockdown. I've enjoyed creating my own character. Put a pause on that. Did anyone else see on Raw? Christian was backstage doing that weird "this room only exists in WWE" thing, and they had a poster, a framed one for some reason, of WWE 2K19. Not 2K20. No. That's not a thing that exists. 2K19. Very interesting. Anyway, back to the question. Then I thought of a good question that I would love to hear you answer. If you were a wrestler and could do most wrestling moves, what would be your signature moves? I'd allow one submission, one top rope move, one other finisher, not a submission or diving move. And it says here, a boy popper move that can send the crowd wild. Never heard that before. Boy popper.
Boy popper move.
Pop the boys.
Pop popper.
I would go for the Lion Tamer, the Swanton Bomb, the Spirit Bomb, and the Sami Zayn through the turnbuckle tornado DDT. Also, if we go the extra mile, what would be your entrance music? I would go for Main Offender by the Hives. Oh, that's a good song. Anyways, TTFN. Hope you all are staying safe and say hi to Puppet Jack for me. Have a good one from Nina. Thank you, Nina. I haven't seen Puppet Jack in months. I left him in the office. I assume he's behind a couch and he is consumed by mold now. So he's probably having the time of his life, crawling around. He's now sentient and making the place his own because no one else is there to stop him. I'll give him some flash wipes. But I'll let him know you're asking after him. Right, so go through this again. What would be your submission if you were a creator wrestler? No, if you were a wrestler.
Ankle lock. I love an ankle lock, and you can always grapevine it for extra. Ankle.
Ross?
Britt Baker's version of the Rings of Saturn with the mandible claw. Add on. Delightful move.
I'm going for the Texas Cloverleaf because for some reason that move just got forgotten and not picked up. I picked it up and I call it the Bish Cloverleaf, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Didn't Drew do one? He's bringing it back.
Oh, God, there you go.
He's bringing it back.
Well, he's dealing for the best. Yeah. One top rope move.
The frog splash. I like a good frog splash.
The Hager bomb. His arms were on the top rope. Don't tell me it doesn't count.
I'll allow it. Probably the top rope elbow.
Ah.
Because I can do that in real life.
What?
There's a big mattress there for me to land on.
Can you? Have you got a good one?
Didn't you knock yourself out at a house party or something by doing one?
I can't really remember that story. No, that was a Hogan leg drop.
I beg your pardon.
And it had no springs in it. There was nothing. It was like one of those, the ring from 85 WWF. It might as well have been concrete. So I went right through it, banged me coccyx, and blacked out for a second because it was that much pain. It was awesome. What else we got here? What do we move? And a boy popper move. I'll do the finisher afterwards. What would you do to pop the boys?
A boy popper move. I'm a big fan. I don't know if it counts as a move, but I like when someone goes to do a top rope move and Samoa Joe just walks away. Yeah. That's a good one.
A boy popper move. What would pop the boys? I've never popped any boys in my life, so I wouldn't have a clue where to start. A boy popper move. Maffew, say yours. I'm going to have to come back to this. I can't think of one.
I go with, it's like Jack, someone's jumping off the top rope, hopefully with an axe handle slam that's not actually supposed to hit, and then do the Roddy Piper eye poke.
The flare topple. There you go.
Hey.
Because it's a manoeuvre. Well, it's not a manoeuvre, is it? You just move and it'll pop the boys.
Yeah. And your finishing manoeuvre.
Got to be the J bomb, hasn't it? Got to be. That was my move when I was making my wrestlers and that. It was a float over DDT.
End of days for me. 99.9% hit rate. I think one person's kicked out of it, is it? Or there's nobody kicked out of it. I'm sure somebody in NXT kicked out of it, but I might be wrong. Someone in the comments tell me off. Maffew?
Maybe Shinsuke.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Well, I would want to win my matches, and I watch a lot of wrestling. So my finisher, if I was a wrestler, would be the roll-up. Because no one kicks out of it. And that was that question. Thank you, Nina. Some interesting stuff there. Oh, no, sorry. Theme music.
I've got my own theme music, and I don't like it.
Have you?
Yeah, I had it at What Culture, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh. I'd go for... I honestly can't think. It's something... So my old manager at Hayes Travel said that he would come out to Holiday by Madonna, so I'll steal that one. It should be funny. It should be a funny song to come out to, wouldn't it?
Ross?
The Boss by James Brown.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? You did it.
Did it once in Orlando when you couldn't hear the sound speakers from like 5 yards away, so that ruined the moment. That was the boyhood dream coming true. Not in terms of what I was wearing, but you know, there I was making me wrestling entrance to James Brown's The Boss, and you couldn't even hear it from the middle of the ring. Terrible.
Takes a seat next to Cornette.
Commentates 3 matches with Jim Cornette. What's his face goes and gets the bus. I've forgotten his name. Adam's favourite YouTuber. What's he called? Tommy. N60. What did he call?
Didn't you I was going to say, didn't you and Tyson Fury share it? Didn't he come out of James Brown?
Tyson Fury? Ooh.
In Saudi Arabia.
No, that was It's Your Thing.
Yeah. Is that
James Brown? Is it?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
No, that wasn't him. That was Zach Dingle, Jack.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in Saudi Arabia at the same time. I would go with Jack's inspiration there and go out the Hayes Travel theme.
No, you wouldn't.
No one offers you more.
Well, I'd be out the door for your entrance then, because that jingle's burned into my soul. Oh,
would that play a lot at work?
Well, they'd often have Heart Radio on, so I may have been listening to Tom Campbell without even realising. But the Hayes Travel advert is often on the radio, and whenever it played in our office, there was just a little crackle of tension. Everyone was just a bit like, oh.
That's a shame.
I know.
I thought everyone would be sat at the desk clapping along and everything.
Yes.
Ooh, smile.
Sorry, I have to put you on hold for a minute, sir. No one offers you.
It's like a football crowd. Oh. Whoa.
Yeah. If that isn't available, then my second choice would be Simply the Best South Cleveland Garages. It's just
Tyneside
very niche.
Tyneside Auto Parts. Do you remember you talking about
Auto
Blues
Plus
Brothers
Repair.
Auto Glass. Do you remember you were talking about Blues Brothers earlier? Do you remember the Everybody Needs Reg Vardy advert?
I can. Yeah, you have to say it though.
Just everybody needs Reg Vardy. 5 years into
do you ever see that advert for Sunderland on the TV? Like
No.
2005-ish? It was
Sunderland.
nice one, Sunderland.
Yes. Oh my god, remember that? 'Cause my dad would like tear his hip going, where's remote? Where's remote? Get it off. Oh, I forgot about
Whose
that.
idea is that?
Like a girl singing going, na. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's weird how jingles stick in your head decades after fact. Do you remember "Ooh, are with Ambrosiar"? Can't remember who was IC champion until I read these notes, but I still remember jingles from my childhood.
Can't believe Sunderland did an advert for Sunderland. Awful place.
Anyway, we have completely gone off the rails here. Thank you very much for sending those questions. Thank you for bringing up Casualty and Paddy and all the rest. If you have any other messages to send to us, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com. Everybody doesn't need Reg Vardy, but they do need Reese's Pieces. So let's see what we have this time. It just says, pick your preferred match. Oh, no intro this time. That's fair enough. And there's a lot of them. Wow, okay, well, no messing around this week. Reese's Pieces, we go around a circle, say the fastest thought first. We'll start off with Jack, then Ross, then myself. Here we go. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks at Take Our Unstoppable, or Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell 2019.
Me first.
It is you, Jack.
Hell in a Cell.
The other one.
Alright, the other one for me as well. Hell in a Cell's a bit, yeah. Lesnar versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell 2015. Or New Day versus Usos at Hell in a Cell 2017.
Oh, the tag match. I love that.
Yeah, tag match.
Nah. I love Lesnar versus Undertaker, sorry. Bayley versus Banks at Take Our Brooklyn. Or Sami Zayn versus Nakamura, Take Our Dallas.
Oh,
you filthy
cheeky
bastard.
Cheeky person.
You get.
Sasha and Bayley, just.
Mine's probably Sasha and Bayley as well.
Nah, I'll go with the reason why Nakamura's still employed with that match. Take Our Dallas. Oh, here we go. DIY versus Revival at Take Our Toronto. 2 out of 3 falls. Or Omega and Page versus the Young Bucks at AEW Revolution.
Oh, I hate that question. That's really hard. I'm going to edge it to Revival and DIY because it was just that good. But I feel bad doing that because I love the other match as well.
I'm going to go for the AEW one just because it happened in AEW. And AEW is the best.
DIY versus Revival. What a match. I've seen it back many times and I miss both teams. Becky Lynch versus Asuka at Rumble 2019 or Lynch versus Asuka at Rumble 2020.
2019?
Yeah, I think the first one was the better one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Moxley versus Ishii at G1 Climax 2019 or Moxley versus Omega at AEW Full Gear.
Oh, that was the hardcore match, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
I'll go for the G1 Climax one, though. That was a brilliant match.
I'll go for the hardcore one, so anyone I've seen.
Oh, sorry.
What Ross said. Trish Stratus versus Stephanie McMahon, No Way Out 2001. Or Trish Stratus versus Mickie James at WrestleMania 22.
Trish Stratus versus Stephanie McMahon all day, every day.
Same here.
See, I'll have to rewatch that. I haven't seen it since it was on.
It's
last, but Stratus versus James
it's
is
so good. It's so good.
Oh, okay.
It's like the most underrated match ever.
Because I thought it was like a pleasant surprise when it happened because no one had any expectations, but I'm not sure if it still like was good.
So good.
Oh, okay, well done. I'll have to go check that out again.
I hope it holds up now. I'm scared.
Gargano versus Ciampa at TakeOver Chicago 2, the street fight, or Gargano versus Ciampa at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, the last man standing.
They all blur into one now, apart from the first one. I think in my mind, I enjoyed each one less and less as it went on, so I'll go for the second one.
Whichever one had the wedding ring bit, that one.
Oh.
And then it goes through the table. I can't remember which one it blurs into one, as you say.
Yeah. What Jack said, because I think Last Man Standing was when he had him and then he just ran off the stage.
Yeah, he
Like
kicked a box. I think he kicked a box.
It was a bit wide, that shot. Asuka versus Ember Moon at TakeOver Brooklyn 3, or Asuka versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34.
Oh, these are some good ones. Asuka versus Ember Moon, because I was less upset that Ember Moon didn't win than I was that Asuka didn't win at WrestleMania.
I can't for the life of me remember the Ember Moon match. Did Ember Moon get injured maybe? Is that a one that happened there? I can't remember, but I'll go with Charlotte. I remember that one.
I can't even remember anything about Asuka versus Charlotte Flair, so Asuka versus Ember Moon easily.
Do you remember John Cena running to the back and stealing Charlotte's moment?
Oh, that was... Right. Also, remember Ember Moon.
Yeah.
Randy Orton versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 21. Or Randy Orton, sorry, it's at the point where we've got no battery. Randy Orton versus Mick Foley at Backlash 2004.
Backlash.
Easy. Bonus round. Oh. DX versus Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel 2018. Or Sharmell versus Jenna from Survivor, TNA Victory Road 2009.
There's different levels of bad, so I'm going for the Saudi Arabia one because there's different levels.
Yeah, the Saudi Arabia one. When Kane's mask falls off, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, the Saudi one, because Jenna versus Sharmell was supposed to be that bad. That was never going to be good. That shouldn't have been that bad, the Saudi match.
I liked the bit on the recent Undertaker one where Shawn Michaels is talking about how far he missed. I missed it by that much. Oh, just that much, was it? Right. I thought he was proper like...
Oh, maybe I'm missing the point there, but yeah.
DX won. I just remembered that.
No
what
one
an
won.
outrageous decision. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, those are some great Reese's Pieces. Thank you very much, Logan A. Merrithew. Great name. Great Reese's Pieces. And if you have any to send our way, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
Big question.
Wow. What a greatest podcast. And we have one last bit here. If you watched all the way here, then good for you. The big question this week is, what is the greatest wrestling match ever? This is it, lads and lasses. This is it. Only on this podcast will we finally decide what is it. And after this, there's no comebacks. There's no, oh wait, hang on, I missed out. This is it, finally. 3 men who have been in the ring. who worked for Bill Watts in the 80s. Done the stuff, juiced. We know. Anyway, no, it's complete Twaddlewards to giving our opinions here. Ross, what's the first match that comes to your head? Just if ignore the fact I can't talk right now. When someone says greatest wrestling match ever, what is it for you?
Hogan Rock, WrestleMania 18. And I know what the comments are going to say. Meh, wet rave, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. It's not about that, is it? It's just about two goats in the squared circle. Here come all of the cliches you want to hear, brother. The crowd, everything, the way that they both flipped from heel to face and vice versa. It's just professional wrestling, isn't it? That's all you can say about it. The way they played the crowd, the way the crowd reacted, the emotion of it all, that is what I'm here for. That's what my answer is. I know it's not the greatest worked match ever, but that's besides the point. Jack the Jobber.
I'm a little bit more of a work ratey person, but that's all right. I'm going to go for one that's a bit more work rate, but also very story heavy, very entertainment. The one I always think of first is Punk versus Cena at Money in the Bank 2011, because it's the one that I've never really cared about the result of a wrestling match as much as that one because I was like fully invested. I was getting back into wrestling and I was like, Punk has to win, he's got to win. And then when he did, it was amazing. And then he just ran off with the belt. And then it all went wrong after that. But that moment was great. And it had a lot to live up to as well because it came at the end of a really good show. So the first one I always think of is Punk Cena. Maffew, which Mike Awesome match are you going to pick?
Damn it. Well, I was going to go with Gatty Ward 1, but I mean, you've put us right there. You know what? Yeah, sod it. I'll just do what I did last week. The One Night Stand 2005. Being a wrestling fan for a long time, you end up with having to categorize your favorites, what you liked as a kid, what you liked slightly older, and what you like when you're supposed to know better. But it's nice when you get that throwback to what you liked as a kid, but now you're a bit older and more mature, like Rock versus Hogan. Or people saw Hogan when they were kids, now they're adults, seeing him against The Rock, and it's can't help but cheer him. Even though Hogan tried to kill Rock with Laurie just a few weeks ago. Hogan. And this was that version of that. First ECW tape I got, November 99, Tanaka versus Awesome. Wow, what a match. Easily the best thing on that show. And I was one of those people there that was like, oh, ECW, they could have taken on the world. They could have. And now you're like, now you're an adult, you're like, no, they couldn't have. What are you talking about? You know, it took a long time for people to realize, no, ECW had no chance of overtaking WCW as the number 2 wrestling promotion in America. It couldn't happen. But at that time, you think, yeah, great ECW, the spirit. So it comes back, and it's that feeling of, yes, it's back, the real brand's back. It's, yay, Viva la Revolution, woohoo, ECW. Todd is God, all the rest. And even better than that, Mike Awesome, who would, he'd been the heavyweight that flew like a cruiserweight, as they used to say on commentary, and they were definitely right. God, it can. But people who do that don't have long careers because he absolutely destroyed his body doing that. That's why I don't see many people doing what he does. So, booked Tanaka versus Awesome one last time, and Mike Awesome ended up tearing his, I think it was an ACL, doing that insane dive at the end that the cameras don't even catch. And he went, right, that's it. Done. That's my last match. And I like the idea of someone going out at the highest level because that was many people's match of the year, at least the places that people I was speaking to. And there's something really nice about the fact that not just revisiting all those classic memories, not just turning back the clock and looking as good as you looked in your prime, but going out at your peak. It's very rare to see that in wrestling.
Well,
and also, wait, Jack, and also, awesome is his name. All his victims feel the pain. Drop dead. Awesome bomb. You go down and never come up.
I think yours was the best pitch, so there we've solved it. Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka it's the best match ever.
That's right.
There we go. Great.
Democracy.
The internet can relax now because we've solved it now. Yeah. That's it. Great.
That's it. Put the handbrake on. Take the keys out. It's done.
Should we all mention a secondary one, I suppose?
Oh, go on then.
Oh. I'll go for the first Okada Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Oh. Loved that match. Well good. Don't know what else to really say about it though, because it's just a really good match. They've never wrestled each other before, so there's not that much of a story. Omega's building his way up as like the bullet. He's like the bad guy, but he's also really good, so people kind of want him to win. But it's more important in a wider sense outside of the storyline because Omega brought a lot of Western eyes to Japanese wrestling. That's my second one. Ross.
The first one that popped into my head is emanating from what might be called the Plymouth Hippodrome. Somewhere in Plymouth, the English Lion Eddie Ryan versus Jake Hager, 5-star wrestling. A capacity crowd in whatever that building's called in Plymouth takes the roof off the building. My God, what a match. Say no more. I'm sure it's on some sort of streaming service somewhere. Joe Hendry's Twitch probably has the match in full. Fantastic season.
I'll never forget at the Newcastle show, Pacitti, 5 pints in or whatever, trying to get Eddie Ryan to give him a high five as he passed.
And he had that Rey Mysterio mask on that only like half, like the eyes are here, so I'm gonna like stretch it so it fits up his giant head. So it looks weird anyway. And he's 5 pints in at least.
It was he had that woolen brown jumper on as well with it.
It's like all the kids down here. Yeah.
Ray! And I don't know how true it is, but I'd love it if it was true. It's apparently Mysterio, like, he's making his way along, sees him, and then just, like, goes, whoa, no, none of that. Like, no.
But the English Lion, the hometown hero in Plymouth. Wow. Same vibes of Rock and Hogan, sorry. Same vibes. Maffew?
Said it many times, but I'll say it again. Being in the crowd for Grado versus Drew Galloway.
Oh, were you there?
IC dub. Again, this is when it's so hard to appreciate. Go back on the ICW On Demand and watch anything from 2013 to about 2015. They could sell coal to the Geordies. The hype they would do, the packages, the promos, because all the packages build up to this were Galloway going, I know I have to do the. Are you kidding me? No, sorry. But like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a former IC champion. Look at us. I'm a brick poo house like Randy Orton. I'm this. I'm that. I'm everything. You're Grado. You're the fat lad who dances. You can't beat me. And then that was the entire build. And it's like, that is true. Like what is Grado gonna do? And then Grado's like, tonight, it's myself. And it comes out. The entire crowd's singing the song and getting behind him. And that match, the way it was told, I have to go back and see it's half as good as it was in my head, but it just go like Grado move by move just gets getting bit better. Grado's like, hang on, what's this? Does a Frankensteiner to Galloway at one point. He's like, what? Grado can't do that, can he? And then he just keeps on going, and it's such a realistic win that if you told someone, oh yeah, Grado beats Drew McIntyre, former IC champ, they're like, what?
Yeah.
But they did it so well. And that crowd, by the way, ICW crowds, if Carlsberg made crowds, ICW fans.
That's a really good shout. That's a nice one.
I miss live wrestling.
We've all been there for one of the greatest matches in recent memory. Cody versus Dustin.
Oh yeah, right, AEW.
Yeah, that was a great one as well. I was just trying to think of one that we'd all seen live, and then I was like, oh, of course. That was a great one as well.
Yeah.
But then I don't know how well, it's such a broad question. I'm sure there's some people who are going to be like Mizawa versus Kobashi or,
Look, it's supposed to be subjective.
Yeah.
I think too many people get focused on making people agree with them and having same opinions. To me, the positive bit of wrestling is the fact that we all have different opinions. And we can come together and you can go, I think, Misawa was a bit poo, really. And someone go, no, hang on, have you seen this match? You go, my God, you were right. Misawa was actually good. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Not agreeing with things is the fun bit of wrestling discussion.
Maybe I should have shut up about Raiders profits. Maybe that is the best.
No, you're allowed to. You're allowed to not like something.
Thanks, man.
I feel like I'm a politician now or something. All these speeches.
It was the Plymouth Pavilions, by the way. I've just googled it.
Wait, that's the way we're ending this.
I've got no idea what match it was. I just remember Eddie Ryan standing tall, whatever he did. He might have had multiple matches that night. I need to revisit the history books. It's been so long. But
wasn't it the Gauntlet?
Just covering my back. It might be Maffew. It might be.
Jake Hager came out and went, you have to take on these guys. Yeah. And it was HG Drake was one of them.
Drake was one of them, yeah.
I can't remember the rest.
Well, because Drake won straight away.
Did he?
Match over.
No gimmicks needed.
Yeah. Kill all gimmicks.
I think we've said, wait, I could see Pachi in the background. He's doing this for some reason. All right, cool. All right, so thank you very much for listening to us ramble and distract you from the horrors that is reality that we're all going through right now. Jack, do you have any upcoming things you'd like to plug?
Yeah, mine and Owen's Football Manager thing on Twitch. It should be starting tomorrow. Keep an eye out on the Twitter and that for announcements. Lads, I've just realised that the Twitch stream might be on now as this podcast is out. So it's not tomorrow.
What date will it be, Jack? Maybe
it'll be Friday. It'll be the Friday, the
19th.
19th.
There we go. Sweet. Awesome. I'll have a new video out. Hopefully be out by the no, it won't be. Nah, I'll be out whenever I say it will be. It's easier that way. Something's happening, you just have to check it out. That's it. And that is, as they say, that. Thank you very much for staying all this way through the podcast. At the end of this, we like to put our little hands up here. And thank you very much to the people who tweet their little photos doing this as well.
That Steven Stills one was emotional, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was good. Thank you, Stephen.
I thought,
thank you, Stephen.
Taker and Kane.
Not at Saudi Arabia 2018. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, join us.
Join us.